Bugün mən Amerikanın Chicago şəhərində yaşayan Elaine Beckman ilə görüşdəyəm. Elaine çox pozitiv, gümrah bir xanımdır və onun 90 yaşı var. Mənim onunla görüşməyimə səbəb ondan ibarətdir ki, Elaine 90 yaş olmasına baxmayaraq çox pozitiv və özünə baxan, bununla paralel olaraq ailəsinə baxan, idmanla məşğul olan, həm ailə işləri ilə, həm də özünün sağlamlığına baxan və riayət edən bir xanımdır və mən fikirləşdim ki, onunla qısa bir video çəkim və inanıram ki, onun məsləhətləri sizin üçün çox maraqlı olacaq. Gəlin başlayaq. Hello Elaine, could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, what would you like me to say? I'm Elaine Bachman. I now live here in Chicago. I was living in Azerbaijan for almost 2 years and with Peace Corps, and I still have wonderful dear friends in Azerbaijan.
So Elaine, my second question is, what do you think? Is age like a number for you, or?
I mean, there has now been much written about it. It's been scientifically proven that age is a number. It's how you're going to think about it. How, if you're going to think, okay, I am now 89, that's old, then actually, scientifically, it changes the body and makes you old, and so that you become ill, you become more crippled. No, for me, it's, yeah, our bodies change, and we know, I can feel the changes in my body. My body isn't like it was even 5 years ago or 10 years ago, but I accommodate for that, and I make sure that I take very good care of my body and respect it. And I think that's important, to respect one's own body.
My third question is, like, you are 89 years old, and could you please give me a summary that what you are doing in your daily life?
Okay, so I love cooking. I mean, it's just, for me, it's a great pleasure. It's almost like a hobby, and it relaxes me. I find it very creative. So I still cook full meals for myself. I mean, some simple, sometimes more. I go onto my computer. I waste much too much time on my computer looking at recipes. I love doing that. And let's see, I do water aerobics at the YMCA pool 3 times a week. I try to get in, I do yoga at home. I'm not going to classes. And so I'm not good about that, but I do the yoga. And I meditate. And it takes, I have to admit, it takes a lot of concentration to remember to do my meditation, but it really makes a difference in one's body and mind. And I'm very blessed. I have a lot of friends, young friends. I have a lot of young women friends. I go to the theater a lot. We have a theater subscription. I like to go see dance, music, go to CUs. I love jazz, the jazz.
Elaine, as I know, you live alone, yeah? So it's interesting for me that what's family for you, and how the relationship with your children, and do they worry about you, or like give me information about this?
It is. Well, I mean, my children are very proud of me living alone and being able to take care of myself, and they encourage it. That we have, we talk on the phone a lot, we Skype a lot on the computer, but we're very close, and we really care for each other, and we try to stay out of each other's lives, being nosy, but we do that in the family anyway. And it is, but one daughter lives in England, so we spend at least once a year, I go over there and visit, and she's moving back here. And then at Christmas, New Year's, she comes for a month, and we all get to spend a lot of time together. And my other daughter lives 5 hours away, so she comes to Chicago. Sometimes I go to where she is, take the train, but we communicate a lot. So before, when I went into Azerbaijan Peace Corps, I was living in Seattle, and I had 3 months before, from June, and then in September, we were going to, Peace Corps was going to meet in Philadelphia to fly to Azerbaijan. And I decided to spend 3 months traveling across the United States because Seattle and Chicago and then New York are exactly straight across the map. And I visited friends and family along the way for 3 months. And when I told people I was doing this trip, they said, well, aren't your children worried about you doing this? And I said, no, that's strange. Why would my children worry about me? They trust that if I'm going to make a plan, it's usually, they'll tell me if they think it's a bad plan, but they thought it was a great idea, and they encouraged me.
Great.
And so as I'm driving, I was driving one day through the mountains in California, and I thought, well, wait a minute, nobody really did mention anything about worrying about me or taking care of myself. So I called my daughter and I said, well, did you ever think about worrying about this trip that I'm taking? And she didn't answer. She just really didn't give me an answer. She sounded very, very strange, very surprised. So the next day, I'm driving again, and my phone rings, and I knew it would be my daughter. And she calls, and she says, well, was I supposed to worry about you? Are you all right? So I think maybe that gives you an idea of the relationship I have with my children.
It sounds amazing. So, Elaine, my next question is about what do you think, what's being a woman in today's world?
It's difficult being a woman in today's world. And at the same time, it's so much easier than it was in past years, in past time. I think every woman has to make that decision for themselves of what they want to do, who they want to be, but that it's important to know to have your own, to hang on to your own self, to be your own self, and not to be what others want you to be, or whoever wants you to be, whether it's your family, whether it's a lover, whether it's a husband, but to not lose your own personal integrity.
Elaine, just your story really inspires me. So I know that you live in Azerbaijan almost 2 years, and what's your advice for Azerbaijani women?
It is, well, what I said before, first of all, about being old. Being old is a matter of in the mind, and if you are going to give up and say at age 50, at age 60, oh, I'm old, then you really will be old. And the body starts disintegrating, your mind becomes fuzzy, it loses its sharpness. And yes, I feel the difference now. My body, I have the aches, the pains, and I have to do a lot more. For instance, I have acupuncture. I have a standing appointment every other week for acupuncture. So it's a matter of, if you don't take care of your body, if we don't take care of ourselves, it's very selfish to not take care of ourselves, because then the body breaks down, you become sick, and then you become a burden to your children, and they end up having to take care of you.
Exactly.
So it's really not a matter of ego. It's a matter of really caring for others that you're going to care for yourself. And then the other part of it, you want me to tell the story, the tea house story.
Yeah, please.
So the house that our family I lived with was across the park. And when I'd get to the end of the park, there was the
Çayhana.
Chahana, my God, the word went
Chahana,
on.
yeah.
There was the Chahana,
Mhm.
and I would have to go make a full circle not to go across the Chahana.
Mhm.
And I did that for a couple of weeks. And then I thought, well, wait a minute, this is stupid. Why am I doing this? I'll just walk straight across the patio. And so I did that. And then, so one day my friend Humai came back home with me, and we got to Chahana and we started to walk, and she said, no, we can't, the men. And I said, no, the men aren't gonna beat you up. The men really aren't gonna hurt. They don't care. They really don't care. They don't notice you. And so I took her hand and made her walk across. She was very frightened. And we walked, and she saw the men didn't even say anything. They didn't look, and she was like, oh, she was so proud of herself. So then another few weeks later, the next friend came with Humai and Shala, and she knew about it. Humai had already told her about what we did. And so Shala was so excited when we got to the Chahana that she was going to walk across the patio of there with the men there. And it was, for me being an American, I was doing it to prove to them the independence of not letting men rule our life to the extent that you can't even walk across a patio where there's men. For me, as an American, this was not a big deal. I mean, it meant nothing. But my experience in understanding how overwhelmingly important this was to Azerbaijani women, what a huge step this was in their life to understand that they could be equal to a man, that they can walk across a patio of a male Chahana was, I mean, for me it left such a mark in my life. It was so significant.
So Elaine, I would like to say that you look like the lady in Titanic, you know it? You look so much like, where is your necklace with the heart?
I have necklaces but not with a heart.
Elaine, çox sağ ol vaxtını ayırdığın üçün və belə gözəl məsləhətlərin üçün. Mən inanıram ki, sənin məsləhətlərin hamının çox xoşuna gələcək və bəzi xanımları bu çox həvəsləndirəcək. Təşəkkür edirəm.
Thank you. And I thank you for this opportunity of talking with you and to talk to the Azerbaijani women.
Thank you too.